What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. So when it comes to Star Wars The High Republic, this is the book that I was the most looking forward to. Did it live up to my expectations? Were my expectations a little high? I don't know exactly. I will say it's not my favorite Star Wars book by Claudia Gray. That will probably always be Lost Stars. But there are still a lot of things in here that I really liked, and there's still a lot of things in here that definitely grabbed me more than what we've seen with the High Republic so far. So this time around, we are centered in on a couple of different individuals, but mostly a Padawan named Reath Silas. He is somebody who would so rather be in the Jedi archives reading his books, doing his history, doing his research, than going on an adventure. So what's going to happen in this book? He's going to go on an adventure. And I just really love that. I love the type of character that Reath is, and I like the journey that he gets to go on with this, because his master charges him with something of like, why can't you climb the Kyber Arc alone? And this is something that he thinks on and like nags at him throughout this entire book. Seeing what he goes through in this book was really something special, and I'm very excited to see where his journey is going to take him through the other books. He seems like a really interesting type of Jedi, a really interesting character, and I'm excited to see how he's going to grow as we move on with him. Also in this book, we have a couple of different casts of characters. There's a lot of points of view, which did kind of start to bother me, mostly because they weren't all necessary, and the points of view did change a lot. Like, I would say the meat of the story is with our Jedi. We have 4 Jedi in this book. One is a knight, one is Reath, who's a Padawan, and then we have 2 masters. And definitely the 2 masters is where a lot is going on, because it's kind of focusing on them flashing back into their memories of this huge mistake that happened in the past, and like why they are like the way they are now, like what's happening as they travel to this new station, like that kind of thing. That was really interesting, and like from that was really influencing where we're probably going to see Reath go next, because one of our masters, Comac, is really struggling with like the dark side and like the Jedi teachings. Not necessarily that he's going to go dark, but just he doesn't think the Jedi are necessarily all correct. And then we have Orla, who's kind of feeling the same thing and feeling like maybe she should step away from the order. So seeing them kind of deal with this stuff as they discover this stuff on the station that they're going to go to, as they travel back to Coruscant, like that's really where I feel like this book shines. And then obviously that's going to reflect on Reath, since he's a Padawan, and seeing what happens with him with this book. The other side of the story is focused on our crew of this ship. I loved them. I do love Affy, Leox, and Geode, especially Geode. Geode is such an amazing character, you guys. But I will say, whenever it switched to their points of views, it didn't feel quite as fleshed out, quite as fully formed, and it didn't tie into the Jedi as much as I wish it would have. It definitely felt kind of like 2 stories happening at once, which it could be as we move into the future. We're going to see those 2 stories branch off, and this is just the starting point. But I wish it could have been a little bit more connected. I wish that like Affy and Reath's story could have tied in a little bit better, because as it is, they just felt a little bit too separate. That's the main reason I'm giving this book an A-. I just feel like because of the amounts of times the point of views changed, like the way we would focus in on each characters, it just felt a little bit strange. And I'm not quite sure why that is. It didn't make it like a bad book, but it did kind of make the pacing like stumble a little bit. So big things happen in Light of the Jedi. If you haven't read Light of the Jedi, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I will say you could definitely start with this book. I don't think it necessarily spoils Light of the Jedi for you. Like, Light of the Jedi is going to give you a lot of groundwork. It's a lot of foundation. I definitely think you could jump in with this and be fine. Like, obviously you're going to learn some big things when it comes to certain people, or like how certain conflicts are resolved, but like when it comes to the nitty-gritty, I think you could probably start here and be okay. But big things happen in that book, and because of that, we find our crew stranded on this crazy station out in the middle of nowhere that is covered with plants. And listen, plant and soil science major, I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with the fact that we have this arboretum just floating out in space. It's completely abandoned. It's completely overgrown. We have these robots that are still taking care of the plants, and it's full of dark side energy. Like, I was all about this premise. I was like, yes, Claudia, give it to me. I am really excited by what I'm seeing like come forth with the High Republic when it comes to the dark side, when it comes to like the way our Jedi are reacting to it. Because so far it seems like all of our Jedi in the High Republic, at least the ones that we focused on, definitely don't all think the same way when it comes to the Force and when it comes to like what a Jedi is supposed to be. So I'm kind of theorizing that as we move forward, we might see kind of a rift start with the Jedi, and I'm really interested to see where that's gonna go. I don't want to get too much into theorizing about that because I don't want to spoil anything, but we probably will be talking about it on Lipstick and Lightsabers if you want to give that a listen. So overall, I am giving this book an A-. I really, really liked it. I definitely think it's not Claudia's best work, but there's so much going on here. It really felt kind of like a little prologue, like stuff is gonna happen, like more stuff is to come. And if anything, it makes me really excited for the next young adult novel, which is gonna be by Justina Ireland. And I really do feel like this like first launch of High Republic, like that's what it's been making me do. It's just making me want more. Like it's kind of like laying down this groundwork, and I feel like we're really gonna get into more stuff as we move on with books. So for Into the Dark, giving it an A-, and I would definitely recommend checking this book out. It's way less dense than Light of the Jedi. It's a lot easier to follow, and I think there's a lot of really big stuff happening. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit the like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything I got for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.